Hey everybody, Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share yet another update on my experience with the Samsung Galaxy Note 10.1 2014 edition. So, as you may have noticed in my last update, I am impressed by this tablet despite its lofty price point. It does currently take everything else in the market and pretty much put it to shame. But one of the most important things for a consumer picking up a tablet like this at a high price point, top tier level, is the experience out of the box. And that's something Samsung has focused on quite a bit. In fact, many people will feel that the added software that comes pre-installed on this tablet is too much for the entire hardware to bear, and as a result, the TouchWiz user interface ends up taking a toll on actual productivity, usability overall, creating lag. Now, I haven't experienced that firsthand, as I mentioned in my last update, but I wanted to take you through the software that comes out of the box, because really, as good as hardware can be, software often ends up determining, as I just mentioned, the actual success of a product. And Samsung is no stranger to that, and that's why they've taken careful steps in putting together a pretty nice package. So, of course, the standard fare here in the app drawer, the alarm clock, as I mentioned in the last update, some of their media consumption outlets that they tie you into for 12-week subscriptions like Business Week, the New York Times, our standard calendar, at least if you're a Galaxy owner right here. So nothing new here. I'm sure there might be some nuance or small enhancements that I'm not pointing out now. But the camera is a big improvement from previous generations, at least what we saw in the last Galaxy Note 10.1. So what has Samsung done? Much like Sony, they've brought some of their ability within the camera development team to really flesh out the camera functionality of, at least in this case, the Note 10.1 2014. So first and foremost, we've got modes that really are pretty broad in range, considering this is a tablet, and they do a fairly decent job of actually accomplishing what they set out to do. So while this may look like a giant gimmick, I can tell you right now, this is one of the better camera applications you're going to find. And all of these are self-explanatory based on what you're seeing right now on the screen, and they actually work fairly well. Of course, you can just stick with an auto mode, which will try to determine what mode to actually activate. Fairly simple, straightforward. You can also touch to focus. I know we're not actually focusing on anything because the tablet is laying down right now. I can also, of course, flip the camera over to the actual front-facing cam, so it's now shooting up. And you saw it automatically enabled beauty mode, so they're assuming you're shooting a picture of your face. They want to enhance what you look like. These are little touches Samsung brings to the table. Again, within the settings menu now, we have control of our flash, night scene detection. Right here, we've got control using voice. That's why it dropped us back out, since I don't have the voice controls actually turned on in settings. We also have control of our video modes, whether you want to, in terms of quality, normal, limit for email, or fast motion. Then we also have our sharing capability. You can automatically set this to share instantly what you shoot, basically giving you even more finite control of your instantaneous capability when it comes to sharing your content that you've shot with this tablet. And the camera on the back, that 8 megapixel, is really solid for both still and video, one of the best that I've seen on any tablet, and it should be. Again, this is a very high price point. You expect very strong performance. Basically, beyond that, the only other thing is actually switching to video mode. And controls fairly simple here. Nothing crazy. You can see we're recording right now, capturing a video. You can go ahead and take a still while capturing video. I'm going to stop it. And the only other thing within the settings that I think most of you will be interested in is the actual menu settings here, which we dive into photo size, just so you can see the range of different formats you can choose from. Burst shot we have, and performance is very similar to what you'll find in the Note 3, and that is not really a surprise in any way, because this tablet is really just a larger Note 3 with proportionally incredible specifications for its larger tablet size. Granted, the processor is very similar, as well as the overall guts, but they added screen resolution and, of course, in terms of usability for productivity, many users will be prone to only working with something like this as opposed to the phone, or will want to have both. But a lot of flexibility here, face detection, metering, just more than what you would traditionally expect. And if we jump into video, you then have control of your video mode as well. Again, topping out at 1920 by 1080. No 4K here, so don't get your hopes up. Video stabilization, which does a fairly decent job. I will be posting some samples of video quality for those of you interested in that. And then finally, geolocation, review controls, volume key, timer, white balance, exposure, guidelines. I mean, really a full-featured camera application without any question. Let's go back. Moving right along. Chat on, I'm not going to get into. Chrome, also something I'm not going to get into. Clearly, that's nice that they've brought it in out of the box beyond the stock browser that Samsung has designed for the TouchWiz environment, which I happen to enjoy using. It works fairly well. I really don't run into any problems with it, and it is fast. Chrome, also a good performer, but it's really a matter of personal preference. Contacts, again, really what you'd find in any Galaxy experience right now. The email client, also fairly basic, not going to get into that. Now, the Galaxy Plus suite really tries to show off what you're getting in terms of applications pre-installed that are customized for the Note experience. So you've got a TripAdvisor app, a Sketchbook app designed for Galaxy, and a Flipboard application, Evernote, and of course Dropbox. Do remember that you get 50 gigs of Dropbox storage with this tablet for 2 years. The idea is fairly simple. It's a good value out of the gate, but in the long run, the idea is to get you hooked on all of these cloud-based services so that when your trial runs out, you're kind of going to need to actually renew because after all, it's become part of your lifestyle. And it's a good pitch, makes sense, and that's one of the reasons they're doing it. You can see I've just opened up the Google folder as well, and I did show all these in the update, but I really didn't get into them in detail because that was a fairly long video just to sum up impressions. So here we've got everything you'd expect from the Google-centric suite, whether we're talking about Hangouts, Plus, settings, basic search capability. Google Now access, of course, is docked on the home screen, which you may have noticed before when I was on it. So that is permanently docked on your home screen out of the box. Gmail, G Plus Photos, so that you got quick access to all of your pictures, playbooks. I mean, just everything that you probably already use. So whether it's voice search, Hangouts, or just Gmail, pick or choose. If you're into all of the content and you really do purchase everything from Google, you have access to it there. Samsung, of course, does want you to use their services as well, and that's why they include $50 of credit to their hub, which is pretty rich in content, but certainly isn't something that I think most users are going to be drawn to. It's kind of a, secondary market, much like what Amazon has created with their Kindle devices, so that Android users buy applications through their marketplace. Well, every manufacturer on the market wants to do something like that, and that's what you have here. In terms of actual value, I think most people are going to use the $50 and move on, and that's pretty much it. You can see you can get access there to video as well as music, and frankly, this isn't a selling point in my opinion. It's just Samsung doing something that they can because they have this selling power of moving so many different smartphones and tablets. It makes sense to try to sell even more content than what they can package in with standard things like the Times and Business Week. So Polaris is definitely a good add-on. As you can see, basically this is going to round out productivity for those of you out there that require it. This is kind of a must-have out of the box. It's definitely a good thing that Samsung has included it, especially since you have stylus capability, great for editing, highlighting, doing all sorts of things that you're going to require an Office suite in order to get done. This isn't a Windows 8 tablet, so it's kind of a must-have, I should really say, and Samsung knows it. That's why it's included. Of course, you do also have S Note, which works fairly well. Some changes from the previous generation, nothing crazy. Let's see if it did I not activate writing right there? No, I did not. Pressure sensitivity, as I demonstrated, fairly good. You know, from what I can tell, things look solid. Whether you're going light or hard, you get actual real-time results, which is really impressive. And this is something we've come to expect from the Note line. Now, I'm personally not a graphic artist. This isn't one of the features I leverage personally, but for those of you out there that are intrigued by this feature, have been looking for the best digitizer experience you're going to find on any tablet in the market, that is, again, the pride of the Note family. Specifically, of course, the 10.1, since you've got your largest surface area to work with. But moving out of that, jump back into the app drawer. Music, nothing really much to show there. The stock internet browser I've already demoed in my last update. The Scrapbook application isn't something, again, that I personally use, but for those of you that want to make use of the S Pen and scrapbooking and pulling all sorts of different content from the web, your email, basically anything, your photos, and organizing it, that is what this Scrapbook application is all about. As you can see, collect a variety of content, save it in a scrapbook using the Scrapbooker, Easy Clip, or Share via features. So fairly straightforward again. Now, one of the biggest pieces of software that's built into this tablet, of course, is the Multiview capability. And as you can see, they instruct you, this is that hand holding that I referred to that Samsung is very proficient at. Press and hold the back key to show or hide the multi-window tray, so that's your quick access. When the tray is closed, press and hold the handle to change its position. So that pretty much rounds out basically how to manage the multi-view capability. But when it comes down to actual use, fairly simple. You can actually just drag that to wherever you'd like it to be. And then let's say I wanted to also simultaneously, let's get rid of this for now, pull up the music application. I could go ahead and dock that on the side. And we've got two apps running simultaneously now. We can reframe, as you may have noticed, which application we're focusing on, whether we want equal spacing or one app, application dominating the other. And of course, multitasking really fast. That's something that Samsung has worked on. You may notice right now the blue outline around the boxes. That's how quickly we're switching from one window to the next. So managed really well. And while you may say, okay, we've got multi-view, you can do even more with multitasking. And that's where the hover capability comes into play. So if you go ahead and hit the S Pen button while actually hovering, I should point out, it brings up the Air view here, which is a new feature. Quite nice in my opinion, and this is again one of the reasons to really like what Samsung brings to the table in manufacturing and a tablet that's really complete out of the box and more feature rich than any other tablet on the market. And you're paying for it, so I don't absolve it and as being a true value. You are paying for this capability. You're certainly paying for all of the development that Samsung has put into the Note experience. So an example of that, we've got Pen Window, S Finder, Screen Write. We also have the Scrapbooker, which will throw you right into the Scrapbook application and allow you to use that in order to actually scrapbook, is what I should say. And then lastly, the Action Memo, which is really just bringing up a quick memo for you to jot down a note using your S Pen. But the pen window feature, I think, is really the most useful. As you can see, it describes that you essentially have to draw a square in the location that you want to open up yet another application. So I've got multitasking already happening here, but let's say I just wanted to put something else there. Let's say I wanted to throw in a calculator. Now I've got a calculator which I can move around on screen, take it wherever I need it to be, and I can go ahead and do that again. So you can continue to actually actively draw out more and more applications using that feature. You will have to actually activate it again, but it's really that simple. I will disable the hand holding. And now if I wanted to put, YouTube there, now I've got YouTube. So really a great feature in my opinion. It works really well. You can see it's responsive. We're not running into problems, and already you can see that the amount of multitasking is mounting. If I wanted to start running a video here, that would be very easy. Let me try doing search. A little bit on the small side, but Of course, I could be using swipe, but I am not. Let's go ahead and just go to the actual channel, one of my older videos there. And then, of course, you can also take this to full screen. You can readjust the size. Besides moving it on screen, go ahead and jump to full screen.
Hello? Not playtime. Hey everybody, Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share. There's only 2 pages here, so not a tremendous amount of content, but you can gain access to this
So everything just works as expected, and that's what I really like about this tablet. Not only are you getting incredible specifications, but you're getting a tablet that just works and does what it promises or set out to do. Improved in every way from the original Note 10.1. The software really is relatively strong despite the reputation for being bloat oriented. Samsung's own app drawer here, really control of the tablet itself. Of course, also integrating some of their own software like Action Memo. That's one of the Air menu items as well. And, you know, again, it's just a memo application, nothing crazy here, but it does have a lot of different purposes, whether you want to just jot an actual memo down or actually take real notes for real productivity. You do still have the capability to use this for doing equations, all sorts of different things. So that's definitely part of the beauty of having an S Pen and the entire Galaxy experience here that the Note brand has to offer. The gallery, nothing really unique that I'm going to share today. Video, nothing there either. Watch on, that's all about the IR blaster, which is a great feature. I have not set it up yet. If that's something that all of you really have interest in, I could certainly look to demo that. But it's not a new feature among Samsung tablets, but definitely that is one of the value-oriented features. That blaster really does offer something that not everyone is right now. Sony does offer that in the Xperia Tablet Z, and I'm sure it's something we'll see more frequently as manufacturers realize that it is a concept that makes sense to integrate into a tablet like this that can do just about everything. So beyond the actual software that I've shown you here, because really the only things I left out were the Times and Business Week, which are self-explanatory, as well as the email client. Samsung apps, I did forget about that. This is just, again, their app store trying to show apps that are tailored for the Note, as well as that they recommend or push. Again, that can definitely be considered a form of bloatware. Ties into the whole hub concept and Samsung wanting to sell more content. The last thing I want to focus on is one of the big enhancements that I mentioned in the update, which is their flip card-based aggregate for basically bringing together all of your content, and I did show it before. You can bring it up with a simple gesture up, as I just did, and this is one of the applications that took a lot of heat for really just not running well, quite frankly, when it comes to overall performance in trying to handle all of your content. So you can see we've got a Here and Now page, which is actively giving you different deals through social or companies that leverage social media like Groupon, Yelp, to just give you targeted advertisement for what you might be interested in here and now. Social, you can link that up to whatever service you like right there. You can see all of them, at least that are supported right now. And that will, again, just bring them into a single feed, again, giving you easy access to all of your information. Then we also have news, and this can be customized as well, tailored, I should say, to taste. And again, quick access here on the right side, as you just saw me bring up, to calendar, email, S-Note, Google, the internet, and your app drawer even. And that is where Samsung really is changing the way you can use Android. Now, this certainly isn't for everyone, but for those of you that, again, are looking for a polished device, really well thought out, some of the things do still require updates. There are bugs like anything else that's brand new in tech, but overall, this is as finished as it's going to get. There's nothing else like it. And if you want to jump into an actual article, can't look at Ted Cruz, but just jump into this. Overall performance, I thought, thus far, solid. I really don't see an issue. This is only a 2-page article, so really not anything too intensive. I'll jump back, see if I can get something with a little bit more beef. Can't look at him. A little bit of sports. And we actually have more than one page. And you can see that I'm really not seeing any performance issues. There's not any significant lag to speak of. And as I swipe through, even if I try to push it, I mean, then you're going to see a little bit of a hesitation. You know, it's struggling to keep up with all of the graphics that it has to resolve. But who browses like this? I mean, that's not practical. You're going to browse in simple swipes, which that's where this is optimized right now, at least in my opinion, for the experience. So it looks good, functions well, pleasant, and overall, I don't see what there isn't to like about this. If you don't want to use it, you don't have to, and that's, again, part of the beauty of it being on board. But beyond that, again, Personal will then pull up your gallery, photo gallery, as well as S Note, and you can get quick access to those to edit with your S Pen. This is all about the entire Note experience coming into one piece of software, one application. So those are the 3 different tiles they have, or 4 different, excuse me, to basically cover every element of information and content that you'd want to bring into a pretty nice looking interface, I might add. I do like what they did here. So again, that's accessible with that swipe up. That can be done with the S Pen or a simple swipe of the finger. And that is probably the most impressive piece of software that they've added to this brand new Note experience. Battery life, again, for those of you watching, the battery slowly turned down. Brightness is at full max. Keep that in mind. I don't have GPS or Bluetooth going here or reading mode, but AirView is enabled. That clearly has a very minimal effect on battery, but just pointing that out. Overall, really impressed with this tablet so far. Multitasking, not a problem at all. That's what the Note is all about. And the 10.1 with this brand new screen really just ushers in a new wave of tech and a whole new experience, really, between the software and the extra specifications between the processor, the RAM, the graphics chip. You really do have a best-in-class product, and again, I will reemphasize, you certainly are paying for it. But the software is there to match, and if you really can't stand the software, some things I can recommend, if you are finding that you're hitting some walls, a little bit of lag because you're running just a tremendous amount, which is understandable because this tablet kind of beckons to be pushed because of the new specifications. Do turn off the animations. Those are things you really don't need if you care about performance anyway, and those are the type of things that will slow down the tablet. Also, something like Nova Launcher or your launcher of preference, although from what I've at least tested, Nova does work quite nicely. Don't have it installed on here right now, but I have tested it already, and that thing just flies. So if you're looking to dump the TouchWiz UI, you hate it, and everything I just showed off in this video really means nothing to you, then that's definitely the road to take, because you're still going to be able to leverage the best hardware in the business as well as the best digitizer, and in this case the S Pen really does represent also one of the best styluses that you're going to get, of course, included and find on the market overall. If you have any questions or comments about this tablet, please feel free to post them. And of course, as usual, please feel free to subscribe. Later.